Franco got me somewhere off on Peachtree.
So yeah, we had a lot going on this past January. Let's just be real. Let's be 100%. 2021 is off to a fantastic start. You know, at the end of 2020, I stated, look, 2021 is going to have its share of challenges. We're going to have some of the same chaos, same mayhem as last year. Be prepared. You know, don't, when January comes around, don't be like, you know what? I'm ready for 2022. I'm ready to throw it away already. We're not doing that. Life is going to get harder. Life is going to have more challenges. How are you going to respond to that? How are you going to respond to that stimuli? Responsibility, right? The ability to respond. Okay? You know, this is what it is. We chose to be here before we got here. We are built for this situation. We are built for the simulation. Your soul contract, you wanted to be in this time period. We got to figure out how we're going to work it out. Okay? Now, you got what you wanted in terms of the election. You got Trump out. Okay? You got the worst type of manifestation when it comes to white supremacy and racism, but it's still there. I'm not going to beat on a dead horse. You know what it is. I'm not even going to harp on that because now we're in a point where we just got to put the work in. We'll let everything speak for itself. Everything we said last year, 2019, 2018, it will come to fruition. We ain't gonna beat it over your head. We ain't gonna say we told you so. We just gonna let it be. We'll let you come around to it. Our job now, our focus now is to put the work in. Holler at Congress, holler at the Senate, everybody in the legislation. We're going to holler at you. We're going to make it do what it do. We're going to get these reparations. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to continue to grind. So, you know, we ain't going to beat you up. You got what you wanted. And now you already seeing what type of policies they're pushing for. Okay? And there are no policies day one for Black America. And we're not talking about these catch-all policies where we get some relief in terms of consequences, right? As a result of him passing this bill, we get some type of relief when it's for everybody, but we just catch a little trickle down. We ain't talking about that type of policy. What we want is direct, specific policy that addresses the lineage wealth gap, point blank, period. If you're not doing that, that policy in the long run will not bring us out of that deficit. We need real policy, point blank, period, okay? We got too many people satisfied with piecemeal, catch-all policy. That's not going to work. We're not talking about that. Of course, he's going to do some things extremely better than Trump. Trump is a very low bar. It's not that hard to be a better president. Man, my son, 7 years old, downstairs, he can be a better president than Donald Trump. Come on now. Stop playing with me. That is what whiteness is about. They have the ability to be mediocre, sub-mediocre, and have the highest positions in this country. So I don't want to hear nothing about, well, Biden, I don't care nothing about that. It ain't that hard. Okay? My daddy told me one time, racism is like a faucet, right? You turn it up. When you want people to feel the pressure, you turn that water on. And then you want to ease it back. You turn it down a little bit. Let it drip a little bit. That's what's going on. Shout out to my partner, Jason Copeland, Dope Tomorrow. He said we back to the let me touch your hair racism. We back to that now. We back to the diet racism. We back to normal. Normal ain't going to cut it because the coronavirus has ravaged our communities. We already had a wealth gap. It's even worse now. The prediction of zero wealth for ADOS was 2053. We are already there. Coronavirus has put us there. It has accelerated our path in terms of no wealth. You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to see everything pop off. And what's so sad is we still going to have a section of our community who will still do everything in their power to say Joe Biden did everything he could for us. And we're just in denial. They're going to be in extreme denial. It's going to be a case of confirmation bias. And I'm careful, too, not to fall for confirmation bias. I don't want to look at everything and say, oh, you know what? There you go. I'm trying to be as objective as possible with my reality and everybody else's reality around me. So I don't want to get caught up in confirmation bias. That's what we're doing. I want to talk about leadership because we always talking about, well, we don't need no leaders. You're your own leader. That's a problem. You need leaders. Every cultural group has a leader. Now, whether they're out there in the press, whether we see them every day, and whether they're just front and center, that's a different story. But we have people behind closed doors who corral opinions, who corral ideas, who get people together, who tell them the vision, and they help folks carry out that vision. Everybody has a leader. Every group has a leader. Don't let nobody misconstrue that for you, okay? That is a myth that people don't have leadership. You need leadership, especially in this country. It's so much going on. That's why they sell you so much individualism, so you could be out here looking crazy. And they try to sell you this whole sheep mentality. Or you follow, you a sheep. No, the problem is they choose our leaders for us. And being a sheep is about following the wrong type of information. That's a whole nother story. Leadership is necessary because you need somebody who can get the vision, get you in line with the vision, and take you there. And being able to pick a leader and know who to follow is a skill within itself. Let me say that one more time. Knowing who to pick as a leader and knowing who to follow as a leader is a skill within itself. Because you have to do your own set of evaluations and assessments to understand, is this the person I need to lend my skill set to let somebody craft my vision, help me craft a vision? Do I need to follow in their footsteps? Or are they going to take me down the wrong path? That's why God gave you, or whatever, whoever you believe in, gave you discernment to make decisions, right? That's a skill within itself. And then on top of that, you have to know how to be a good follower. You can't be a dumb follower. You can't be out here dumb. We ain't saying, see, we like to equate following people with being dumb and not knowing what's going on. Now, that's we don't want bad followers. We don't want just people following people blindly. You have to have your own skill set. You got to bring something to the table, and you got to know how to take your skill set and help execute the vision of that leader. You understand what I'm saying? You have to know the vision that they have is something that is somewhere you want to be. Because if that ain't nowhere you want to be, you don't need to be following that person. You understand what I'm saying? So ain't nothing wrong with having leadership. We can't say on one end, you don't need to be, we don't need no leaders. You your own leader. And then on the other end, complain about how black folks are unorganized. Which is it? Leaders organize people. And then people fall in line and help the leader push the vision. Because most leaders are bad at other stuff. They know how to get the vision. They know how to get the ideas and everybody in place. But in terms of administration and other skill sets, they don't have time for that. And 9 times out of 10, they don't have a skill set for it. You understand what I'm talking about? So that's why you need people who can fill in those gaps. Leadership is not a bad thing. Some of the best organizations, hell, the best organizations have great leaders. You understand what I'm saying? So stop letting these folks run this game on you talking about you don't need no leader. You your own leader. In a sense, yes, you do control your universe. You control what's going on. But in the capitalistic America, in a country that's so hell-bent on individualism, in a country that's so hell-bent on eating up everybody and pushing certain folks, ADOS, to the bottom, you need a leader. You need leaders. But at the same time, you need your skill set too. You need your own agency too. Being a follower does not mean you lose your agency. You're just out here blind. I don't know what to do. Whatever they say, I'm going to do it. No. You get a set of instructions. You look at those instructions. You see what you need to do, what you need to contribute. You ask questions. You bring your own opinions and your own values to the table. We all talk about it. We try to figure out ways to incorporate your values and opinions into the whole movement. And then we keep it going. And if you got a leader who don't want to hear none of that, that may be something you want to back away from. Unless you just know their vision so A1 that you just say, you know what? I'm going to go with it. But that's few and far between. For the most part, in this country, with this amount of knowledge that each person possess, everybody needs to be in on the decision making, or at least have an opinion. And if the leader says, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go with what we doing," and just ride with it. You understand what I'm saying? But there's levels to it. I'm just kind of speaking on it in general terms. But I think following people has gotten a bad rap, right? It's just stigmatized. You don't want to follow nobody. Man, you know what? I'm a rebel. I'm as quiet as I am, as much of an introvert as I am. If the folks who really know me, they know I go against the grain in a minute, and you be like the quietest person. You don't say nothing. But I did my own thing. You be like, man, he did something totally opposite. That's how I do. But I do believe in leadership. I do believe in following folks on the path. And I also believe in knowing when to lead. Hey, these leaders ain't cutting it for me. I got a vision. So now I need to put myself in a position to illuminate a path for other folks to follow. Sometimes that leader ain't doing it. You got to figure out a way to do your own thing. Everything is a skill set in this life. Everything is a level up. Everything is XP, experience points. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about everything, man. You know what I'm talking about? So, since 82, again, we got the LLC. We are official. Merchandise is on the way. Beats. I'm taking the beat stars down because I want to focus on building a sound, and I want to not sell myself short. So the beat stars, that whole business structure, I'm going to reorient that, redo that. I'm going to spend that money elsewhere. But right now, we on the way up. Media mogulship. We want to be in this thing heavy. Movies, short films, documentaries, you name it. We want to do it. Okay. So since 82, man, we focusing on nostalgia, and not just nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia, but for understanding history and understanding your past from the standpoint of how did it affect your present and how could it possibly affect your future. Telling our story. You understand what I'm saying? Every generation has a backdrop. Every generation has a set of scenes, epics, periods, things of that nature that kind of set up where we are today. And when we think of history, we often think of black and white or things back in the 1940s. Now we're talking about what happened in the 80s, 90s, and even yesterday. But yeah, we finna do our thing. The mind of Franco, Elun. I'm out.